All right.
What's up, family? You know who it is. It's Elijah Best. I'm CEO and founder of Vet Boss, and I'm also known as Vet Boss. Now, today we have my man, Anthony, and he is here today to share an incredible story. I know a lot of you clicked on this because you see that he's making $15,000 a month, and you want to know how to do that too. And we're going to get into that in the disciplines. But there's a lot more that comes with that, a lot more that is way more important than that, and it will help you even get there. And I brought Anthony here because I've been on social media, I've been on the other side, and I've watched videos like this, and I wanted to know how the heck can I make it happen as well. And so I brought Anthony here so he can share it and tell you the true real life and what it's like to build up like that. So somebody says greetings from San Diego. And without
Thanks.
further ado, Anthony is very, I'm going to let him tell his story, but he's doing great things. He speaks in front of a lot of people. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, Anthony, please introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, Elijah, how you doing? What's going on, Vet Boss family? It's an honor to be here. I've spoken to stages from 10 people to thousands of people, but veterans and active duty are near dear to my heart because we're brothers and
Yeah.
sisters that in arms. And you know, I really, when you invited me to speak, Elijah, there was a lot of things on my heart because I know that people see the glory, but they don't know the story.
Right.
But I'll tell you that every one of us have a unique gift, talent, and ability. And it took for me to find that. We see the amount of money, we see the income, we see the monetary value, but that doesn't come without influence and impact first. And I'm excited to share with the group today a little bit about my journey, but also, you know, what it will take. And I wish that I knew when I got started, 6 years ago. And every day's a struggle. I'm on my lunch break right now. Like I jumped in my car because success isn't sexy. Can anybody agree? Just comment below. It's not sexy. I'm on
Right.
my lunch break. Everybody in the office is going out to lunch, and I said, "Hey guys, I got to run." and
Yeah.
and I'm here in my truck in the parking lot in Texas heat. It's hot, but I'm
Yeah.
here because what I really believe is this. And if you're in entrepreneurship, which you should be, write this down. When your heart's set on service, there's seeds to be sown everywhere you step.
Mm.
Many of us want the fruit. We want the 15K, the 20K a month. I want 30, 40K a month. I want 100K a month. But what I know is this: is that whenever you want the fruit, you got to plant the seeds. And when your heart's set on service, there's seeds to be sown everywhere you step. And I'm here in my truck on my cell phone, not in my beautiful office with the nice camera, the nice microphone, the nice lights and everything, because success isn't sexy. But not only that, in order to be successful, you have to be disciplined, and you have to make disciplined use of the time that everybody else wastes. Everybody's going out to eat nice food, nice restaurant, really good Spanish food down the road. And I'm here in my truck. I haven't even lunch yet. I'm fired up. I'm hungry, just like every
That's
one
what
of
I'm
you.
talking about.
because because in order to have what other people can't, I got to be willing to do what most people won't. And so here we are. Let's get this thing started, Elijah.
Man, it started dropping bombs already, man. So, brother, tell us a little bit about what you do now, where you're at, and then I'd like to segue into how things started. So, can you
Okay,
share a
yeah.
little bit with us? Yeah.
Yeah, so my family and I, we just moved to San Antonio. So I'm at Fort Sam. I'm actually an instructor now at the Hospital Corpsman A School, where my journey started as an enlisted corpsman in the Navy. And so I'm here as an instructor. We just got here. I'm checking in these next couple of weeks, and I'm in charge of instructors and that are here in the Corpsman A School. So we just moved from Charleston, South Carolina, to San Antonio. And being 18 years in the Navy, I have the opportunity to retire after this. And I'm looking forward to the next chapter of my life for my family and I. And so here we are in Fort Sam. So if you're in Fort Sam, hit me up. I would love to meet. I would love to grab dinner, buy you a drink. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. And so this guy's being humble. He's done a TED Talks. He's spoken in front of thousands of people. We got people saying, go Navy. Man, he started from enlisted and became an officer. And you're going to be seeing who in a bit? Ex-President
What's that?
Obama. And tell us about the Obama. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I joined the Navy in 2004 as a homeless teenager. And You know, when I joined the Navy, it wasn't to go off and be an officer. It wasn't to go in and get a degree or make hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. It was really a second chance at life for me. I was sleeping on a friend's couch and I woke up one day and I was like, you know, there's got to be something more. And I heard, you know, we all have that internal voice that speaks to us, but somehow it's been drowned out by society or social media or whatever, we, you know, when we compare and compete. But I heard loud and clear this voice that says, you're not created for struggle, you're created for significance. And I didn't know what that meant, but I knew that there was a recruiter that came to my high school, you know, the year before that. You know, I just graduated high school and my friends were going off to college trying to figure out where they're going to go to college. I was trying to figure out where to get my next meal. I didn't know. And I'll tell you, I was at rock bottom. And rock bottom, what I found is a solid place to build a legacy. It's a solid foundation for a legacy. And that's what I did. I joined the military and I left home, left everything I knew. And here's the thing, guys, like, no matter how screwed up your life might be or how good it might be, it's what you know. And it's hard to leave what you know, even if it is the worst case scenario, because it's familiar. And you leave it for the fear of the unknown, just like we do in business. We step out in this venture. I don't know what's going to happen. Right. And we take a leap of faith. And what I'll tell you is I did that and I failed again. I went to A school, the same A school that I'm at right now teaching. I was here standing in front of the man because I was underage drinking. I hung out with the wrong people. We graduated. We went to go grab a drink. I was underage. Somebody bought me a beer. The guy driving on base got a DUI and they breathalyzed everybody. An 18-year-old Anthony Waite got busted down to E1 and almost kicked out of the Navy. Oh my God. leadership told me, you're such a piece of crap. You're never going to amount to anything. You just screwed up your whole career. You're lucky you're still in the military. And I left there with my head down, tail between my legs, and I missed a lot of opportunities because I believed what they said. I didn't have proof that I could do more because I just came from being homeless, and now here I am getting in trouble 6 months later. Yeah. And I got my first orders to Bethesda, Maryland, and I remember going there, and they offered me opportunity at the Naval Academy. I turned it down because I didn't want them to find out my past. I didn't want them to find out that Anthony's been in trouble and that I have a history. So I didn't apply for it. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. The realization is I didn't believe that I could. Yeah. And so 3 years, and it's crazy, but fast forward 3 years later, I'd be working in the White House with President Obama on his medical team.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
But here's the deal, right? And now here I am in San Antonio, sitting in the very parking lot. I'm sitting here, and I'm about to go teach and lead the kids that were once where I was, getting told that I wasn't going to amount to anything. And so my career's kind of come full circle. I'm now an officer. I'm back at core school. I'm getting ready to teach, and I want to find that one person who is like Anthony Waite, that don't believe in themselves, so I can believe in them. Man. Maybe many of you today, you're in business, and you're like, you know what? I don't believe it's possible. $15K a month, that's crazy. You see, you don't need to know how. You need to know why. My why is because I don't ever want to have to go back to where I came from. I don't. At least not the same person.
Damn, man. You dropped so many nuggets right there. And, you know, there's so many business owners right now that are in a space of fear. Do you think that you got here without experiencing fear? And if you did, how'd you overcome it?
I'm afraid every day. I have fear every day. But that's what drives me. It used to be fear is what stopped me, but now it's what drives me. You see, what I found was, you know, and we shared this, Elijah, when we talked before, one of the biggest the biggest fears that I had in my life is when I found out I was having a little baby boy. I didn't have a father growing up. My stepdad, or whatever you want to call him, was very abusive. And when I found out that my wife and I were having a little boy, I was very afraid. When people were excited and they're doing all these things and sharing it with the world, I had this big sense of fear because I didn't know how to be a man. I didn't know how to be a leader. I didn't know how to be a father. I never had an example of that. And what I found at that moment was that fear and excitement share the same emotion. Like, I'm excited right now, but I want to cry because I'm so excited. But fear and excitement share the same emotion. But when you can't dictate the difference between the both, you accept it as fear. You see, because most of my life I lived in fear. My dad was abusive. My stepdad was abusive. My mom was abused all the time by men while I was growing up in welfare. And so fear for me was normal. Excitement wasn't. I wasn't excited for Christmas because it was just another day. My birthday, I mean, I don't even know what Father's Day is until I started having kids. My wife still has to remind me because I didn't know. But you see, fear and excitement share the same emotions. And when you can turn that fear into excitement, guess what? Business isn't that scary. Asking for that sale isn't that scary. Getting up on stage in front of thousands of people is not scary because you're not tied to the how, you're tied to the why.
I love it, man.
And my why lays next to me every single night, and that's my wife. And then in another room, it's my 2 baby boys. They remind me of why I do what I do. I don't need to know how. I don't need to know how I'm going to make the next 10K. I don't need to know how I'm going to make 100K. Just 3 months ago, 9 weeks, 3 months ago, I said, I want to double my income. I want to replace my military income. And as an O3E, I make pretty good money. It's about 10K a month. And guess what I did? I passed that up by making 15K a month. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew why I needed to, because I want to retire. I want to get out of the military on my terms. I want to be able to walk away knowing that I did what I had to do, but that I still have a life in front of me. I don't have to be stuck in here for the next 30 years, which I could do and be very comfortable. I can continue to climb the ranks. I can continue to stay on this wheel, but eventually we all have to get off. Eventually this comes off. Eventually these go away. And what you're left with is not what you have, but who you become.
Man, I'm just going to let that settle for a second. I'm just going to let that be silent for a minute. Wow. One of the big things that you mentioned was that fear and excitement share the same emotion. Could you explain that to somebody who's hearing this? They're like, that makes sense, but what do I do with that? Can you explain how you would apply that if somebody just told you that before you've heard it for the first time?
Yeah. So when I was in 2004, I was in a class. It was a speech class. Everybody's probably taking a speech class because it's a prerequisite for any degree that you get. Yeah. And I was told, they said one of the passing requirements was to get in front of the class and give a 2-minute speech. 2 minutes, not long, not nothing crazy. It was 15 kids in the class, and that was the passing requirement. That was the only thing standing between me and getting the grade. And you know what happened? I got up there, like Eminem said, right? Knees weak, palms sweaty, arms are heavy. Yeah. And I ran out of the classroom. I left. And she felt so bad for me. She brought me my bag and she said, I'm not going to fail you, Mr. Waite. I'm going to give you a withdrawal. And I said, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. Fast forward, 7 years later, I got married and my ex-wife had an affair on me. I said, I'll never do that again. Luckily, I never believed myself and followed through with that, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have a beautiful wife and 2 kids. I wouldn't be speaking in front of stage in front of thousands of people, because that same feeling of fear that I had that day in that class is the same feeling that I had when I stepped on a TED stage in front of thousands of people. It was the same feeling I had when I went back to my high school as a distinguished alumni after almost failing out of it and speaking to the kids. It was the same fear, the same feeling that I had when I walked through the halls of this Corman A school, when I was told I wasn't nothing. The same feeling. But what I realized was, what am I afraid about? What am I fearful about? I'm excited. I'm not, why would I be fearful of walking through the halls of where I came from as a new man, as a new person? You see, what happens is that we have these little instances of failures, and they remind us of who we were, but they don't remind us of who we are today. I'm not a perfection. I'm not in perfection. I'm chasing progression. But when we have this flawed sense of reality of, I got to be perfect, my hair's got to be good before I go live on camera, I got to make sure that the lights are good, that everything's good, that I have all this. What happens is that we have this false sense of reality, and when we fall short, we beat ourselves up, and then we're reminded of all the things in our past that are still predicting our future. And in the military, since we have veterans here, what I've struggled with, and this is what I have a coach, I have an executive coach, I have a business coach, I take 10% of my income and I put it towards my growth and development. Because my biggest thing, and what I've found with the people that I coach, is that we let this become our identity. We let these dictate how we show up. And it's not what you have or what you do, it's who you are. It's what I call the be, do, have principle. Growing up poor, I thought I need to have more money. I need to have a nicer car. I had to have a bigger house in order to be somebody. And so that's what I did. I had the BMW 5 Series. I had the penthouse, bachelor pad. I had the money. I was in debt over my face because I wanted to impress people that I didn't even like. And what I found was I had everything on the outside. It looked really good, but on the inside, I was still empty. And then I realized it's not about having more, it's about becoming more. Mm-hmm. And instead of chasing the credentials, I started chasing my character. And now you could put me in front of an E1 or an 07, which I've been in front of both, speaking on leadership as a junior officer to the admiral about how to lead their people, to E1s about how to be a leader and believe in yourself. You could put me in front of a kennel of dogs and I'll still speak with confidence and conviction because it's who I am, not what I do. And that's the kind of mindset that I think we all need to think about when we're in business, when we're going out there to make an impact and have influence in the world, because your income is directly related to the impact and influence that you have in the lives of those you lead and those you love.
Man, this is good. All right. So another one is, I remember we were talking earlier about how, and you kind of just touched on it, how you had to start really changing things on the inside to really see growth. Can you just really hammer that in one more time for someone who's listening?
Yeah. The military does a really good job of making us compete and fight for the top spot, or, compare ourselves to other people. It does a really good job of showing us what we're not. And rightfully so, right? It's their job to keep us in a box. But if we're going to get out of that box, we got to realize that the directions are on the outside of that. It's not only going to be on the inside. And for me, what I did was, I remember I was a brand new officer. I just got commissioned. And people are like, man, your life is set. You're going to have more money. I doubled my income from an E6 to an O1E. I was newly married. And now we were having our first child. And I was finishing up my degree and all this stuff, and I was chasing the credentials. I was working on the externals. I had the medals. I had all the rank and everything. I was good. And I remember coming home from night shift, walking to the guest room, and I saw my baby boy and my wife in the bed, in the guest room, in our bedroom. And I walked past there, and I remember stopping and looking. I had $1.25 in my emergency fund. I was negative. I was overdrawn in my checking account. And I realized at that moment that what everybody was saying about the glitter and gold, it wasn't, all that glitters and gold, all that shiny isn't always glitter and gold, and I was chasing these externals. I was chasing the rank, the titles, and the position. And I realized that I was struggling. I was struggling financially. I was struggling with my family. And as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a leader, as a provider for my home, I was failing. And I realize it's because these credentials are taken for face value. They're not, they're great. They feel great, but they do absolutely nothing for us as a person. Mm. And I picked up the book, 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John Maxwell. And I remember reading that. I went to my leader, I went to my boss, and I said, I'm struggling at home. And I'm working as a brand new nurse in the critical care unit. People were dying left and right. And there's nothing I could do. I felt helpless, right? And so I asked her, I was like, I need help. Like, I'm struggling. And I said, I'm struggling personally, and it's affecting me professionally. And she said, well, I got some good news for you. I was like, well, what is that? She goes, you're deploying in a week. I said, is that good? Like,
right?
I'm just gonna run away from it all. And it's gonna go away. Like, that's not how it works.
Right.
And it was in that moment that I realized that I have to get outside this box in order to find the directions in which I need to go in life. Everybody that was leading me, they were just playing a game too. They're struggling just like I am. It's like the blind leading the blind. Mm. I'm asking for direction from somebody who don't even have the map. And so I went on that deployment for 8 months. I got to travel around the world and provide healthcare for 10 different countries. I found the book, Man's Search for Meaning and 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth. And I read them probably 25, 30 times. And it wasn't just in the reading, it was in the application. The law of the mirror says that, you'll never outgrow your self-image. You'll never outperform your self-image. What you see is what you will give to the world. And what I realized was that life wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me. That I wasn't a victim of my circumstances unless I chose to be. And how I saw myself was different than how everybody else saw me. They saw me as the officer, as the leader, as the person that was just, motivated. And what I saw was this broken down man that just was struggling in all aspects of life. And so I went to work on that. I went to work with changing myself from the inside out, not the outside in.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. And do you think that process was a little bit quicker than you expected, or do you feel like it was like way longer drawn out?
Going through it, it always seems like it's never short. It's always, because I'm still a work in progress, right? You can ask my wife, she'll tell you. But when I look up how far I've come in the last 6 years, what I did was I always knew that I had to I couldn't rely on formal education, right? Like I got the master's degrees, I got all the titles and everything like that. But what helped me 10x my growth in my business, but also in myself, was me going out and finding it myself. Like I said, I invest 10% of my income in my own growth, because I know to get to the next level, it's going to take for me to be more, not to have more, but to be more.
Exactly.
And so how I 10x my growth and jumped past my peers, sitting on the board of directors as a junior officer, telling the admiral, leadership nuggets, it's because I didn't wait for them to tell me what to do. I went and did it myself. Because when we wait on formal education, we're always stuck by the person in front of us or the person leading. Just like in the military, like my bosses, they will try to, tell you, follow A, B, and C, but I don't want to just get to C. I want to get to Z. And I'm still waiting for D, E, and F. Right. Screw that. I'm jumping the line. And the only way you're going to do that, again, is getting outside of that box. So I found mentors outside the military. I found business owners outside the military. John Maxwell was my mentor for, the first 4 years of my life, because I saw the fruit that he had in his life, not just the money he made, but the impact that he had. The man that he was, because he's 74 years old at the time. I was like, when I'm 74, I want to be like that. I want to be grounded in my faith. I want to be close to my family, and I want to be set in my finances. But most people want their finances first, and they neglect their family. They neglect their faith. They neglect their fitness. And what I found is that's ass backwards. I don't want to go out and make all this money and lose what matters most, my kids and my wife.
Right.
Because I almost did that. And I'll never do it again. And so it goes back to the beginning, what we talked about. You don't need to know how, you need to know why. When your purpose is bigger than your problems, only then will you recognize your full potential.
100%. So I know that successful people like yourself typically have a system that they go through. Whenever they're facing hard times, they're like, all right, time to get myself out of this. And they go through it's like a Rolodex of how they're going to play that out. Could you kind of explain yours, or any way you go about that type of stuff?
Absolutely. I would love to. And, if you're watching, get a pen and paper, because this is what I share with my paid coaching clients. It's called the Congruency Compass. And, for those in the military, you'll appreciate this. But if you have a piece of paper, or just think about it in your mind, draw a circle as a compass. You have lines for north, south, east, and west. The first one at the top, your true north, is always clarity. Why are you doing this? Any decision I have to make in life, leadership, or business, clarity. Why do I need to do this? Why do I want to do this? Do I even want to do it? The next one, where east would be, is commitment. It's the next C. Am I willing to commit the time, my talent, and my treasures into this? Sometimes we have a lot of opportunities, but remember this, in business, it's called the opportunity cost. What is this opportunity going to cost me? Not just in money, but time. I bit off more than I can chew, a lot more than I'd like to admit. And so clarity, commitment. The third one, where the south would be, is consistency. How consistent am I getting the reps in? You see, I don't have notes. This was not scripted, right? Elijah, we pressed play, we went after it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I put in the reps. Just like you go to the gym, you don't go in there and just do bench. You don't do one rep and leave and expect to look good. You don't do one crunch and expect to freaking have 6-pack abs. It's every single day. Are you putting in the reps? Are you being consistent? Because here's the last one that most people will not have, and it will drive you into the ground, and that's confidence. That's where West would be. Only when you are consistent and committed and clear will you have confidence. And confidence is not that hoorah, loud, motivated, get after it every day. Confidence is falling down and getting back up and saying, I'll try again tomorrow. And in the middle of that compass is the last C, and that's congruency. Who am I becoming? What do I need to be? Who do I need to be? Because that's where your gifts that you give to the world, that's where it lies. Not what do I get or what do I want to have or do. Who do I need to be? And that compass, when you calibrate it, you are a force to be reckoned with, and you are able to go out in life, in leadership and in business, the same. You put on the uniform, you take it off, and you're the same that you were in all aspects of life. Because before this framework that I came up with for myself and for my clients and my what I do today, I would take this off and I'd lose all confidence. I'd lose all commitment. I'd lose all consistency because I let this define who I was. It's not what's on your chest, it's what's in it that matters most. And that compass allows me to really sit down and say, is my compass calibrated? Am I clear? Am I committed? Am I consistent? And am I confident? And most importantly, am I congruent with who I need to be in order to take on this endeavor?
If you didn't write that down, you need to replay this. Put hashtag replay if you're on the replay. Give some thanks. That is badass. Oh my gosh. That is great. And I'm really blown. I used to have a board behind me and I erased it eventually. But one day I was sitting down and I felt like the spirit was going to come to me and I was going to come up with an idea. And I went downstairs here to my office and I wrote down how someone becomes a coach. And I said that somebody either watched their family struggle or something, or they went through some kind of bad thing and then they hit rock bottom. And they might have hit rock bottom more than once. But then what happens is they pull themselves out of it and then they create a framework for how they pulled themselves out of it and they're successful with it. And because it's a framework, they can teach other people how to do that. You just now need to add a sales acquisition strategy to that. And so my mind is blown because, like you said, this is completely organic. And that compass is badass. I'm telling you that, because you live it, right?
Yeah, there's nothing. I didn't write this down. I didn't get like some motivation before I got. This is what I live. This is how I operate.
Yep.
Just like the military, SOP, standard operating procedure.
They're perfect, man.
Create one for your life,
man.
And here's the other thing, Elijah. I want to just for everybody that's watching this, you don't need to read another book. Everybody that's in here, if you're a veteran or active duty, there's something that you have a gift that you just need to get to work on every single day. I truly believe that, we think that we need to know more. We need to get another certification. We need to get, if you want to be a life coach, great. Use your life experience as that, not somebody else's life, your life.
Right.
That's where the growth is going to come from. That's where the greatness is going to come from. That's where your gift is going to come from.
100%. If you want to be a coach and you're watching this right now, keep working through what you're working through and help people with that as well. And just keep pursuing that. And you're going to learn your mastery, your process.
Yeah.
Man.
And there's no one else like you.
100%. Hey, man, I know Anthony Waite could just keep going and drop more nuggets. Unfortunately, we're short for time. I have an appointment right after. Otherwise, I'd just extend it. So, Anthony, how can people reach you? What could you help them with?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. I mean, I'm in the group now. Please reach out, Elijah, if there's anything I can do for this group, or, please, I'm in the group, reach out to me. I would love to, if there's anybody that's getting stuck or they just need like some kind of idea to get them past stuck, just reach out. Facebook, Instagram. I have a podcast, Whose Or Is This? Lead 360 is my Facebook group. We talk about this kind of stuff that we're talking about today. Life, leadership, and business, how to level up. And I got people from CEOs to elementary level leaders in there. So no matter where you are in life, trust me, as a group, you'll get the tools that you need. But, for the big thing is like, this group is amazing. And I love what it's about. I love what this stands for, because for a long time, people said like, who do you serve? And I'm like, I'd say anybody, but to be able to serve the veteran community, to serve people like myself, you know, I don't look at myself as somebody who coaches military people or active duty or veterans. But to be able to pour into this group, Elijah, man, what you're doing here is amazing. And I'm truly honored and blessed to be part of this. But guys, if you need anything, reach out, right? You don't need an appointment. Just send me a message.
I love it, man. Anthony, thanks again for coming out here, spending your time. You're on lunch, getting after it right now. As we're talking about this, he's applying it. I love it. This was awesome. We'll definitely have to do this again sometime, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, everybody. We're out. Peace.